Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson sashayed into Washington yesterday, trying to sell lawmakers on a new world war. So naturally, as we told you last night, we invited him on this show. But then, a few hours before airtime, his publicist called to say that Boris Johnson wasn't coming. Given all that, we were shocked, actually shocked, this afternoon to see Johnson show up at a neocon think tank called the Atlantic Council and say this.
I've been amazed and horrified by how many people are frightened of a guy called Tucker Carlson. Has anybody heard of Tucker Carlson? What is it with this guy? All these wonderful Republicans seem somehow intimidated by his perspective.
All these cowards in Washington are afraid of this show. Somehow he never mentioned that he is one of them. And remarkably dishonest as he transitioned into a terrified old woman. But we had no idea he was also a liar. Consider the amazing case of Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina. Must send EB-1 Abrams tanks to Zelensky and his wife. Watch.
It's impossible, in my view, to dislodge the Russians by the Ukrainians unless they have tanks. We also believe that longer-range rockets will help give them the weapons they need to beat the Russians on the battlefield.
And not long after that, Joe Biden indeed dutifully sent the tanks. Now, Lindsey Graham is demanding that the Pentagon send F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. From there, it is a direct and possibly very short line to a nuclear exchange. It is lunacy. But it's also Lindsey Graham's stated position. He has no children. He's not worried about the future. Here's the truth. We're going to have that war anyway. What the hell is this? On Monday, we showed you unreleased videotape from January 6th. Look, prosecutors say he is too dangerous to release. And most people believe that because why wouldn't they? They were told it and there was no evidence to the contrary. And now there is evidence to the contrary. We brought it to you Monday.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving the inspiration needed to these police officers to allow us into this building.
Was it a violent insurrection? It was not. Was it a killing of 5 officers in the Capitol? It was not. Those are lies, and they buried tape that contradicted and revealed those lies. Leaders in both parties, the party that Chansley voted against and the party he voted for, have said nothing, not one word about the implications of this videotape. The implications not just for Chansley, but for our Constitution and our country going forward. It's almost beyond belief. Watch this.
It was a violent attack. 5 officers died.
He just lied about something that is provably false. Now, they're counting Brian Sicknick. That's a lie. But who are the other 4? Well, those are 4 officers who killed themselves. That fact is available to anyone who has internet access. No police officers died that day on January 6th. None. Not one. Where we're learning exactly who the liars are. The leaders on both sides are in fact secretly united in a common love of money and power and the deception required to get them. They degrade and control you. They make you less of a person.
Shoot him. Yeah. Shoot him.
What?
I think it's bull. When you see police barricades breached, when you see police officers assaulted.
It's really sad to see Tucker Carlson go off the rails that bad. The American people saw what happened on January 6th. They've seen the people that got injured. They saw the damage to the building. So absurd.
So all we did was play the tape that they had been hiding for 26 months and show they don't care. Neither party in Washington cares. In fact, the leader of the Senate Democrats, Chuck Schumer, just joined the leader of the Senate Republicans, Mitch McConnell, in calling for this show to be pulled off the air. Now, that's not an argument based on logic. It's based on hysteria and the shame you feel as a weak and terrified person when your lies are exposed. Here's Chuck Schumer claiming for the first time that, like Sandy Cortez, he himself nearly died on January 6th.
Tucker Carlson ran a lengthy segment last night arguing the January 6th Capitol attack was not a violent insurrection, an attempt to rewrite history and erode the very foundation of our precious and sometimes fragile democracy. So yes, this morning I am furious. Millions of Americans are furious. I was here on January 6th. Many of you saw the footage as I ran for my life, coming within a few feet of these criminals.
Shut up! Pull that show off the air! All over the country in the cities controlled by the Democratic Party. In New York, a man with 11 prior arrests just bludgeoned a female police officer with a bottle in the middle of the day. You're seeing the attack on your screen right now. And the sad news is, a lot of these attacks, and you see them online if you pay attention, are racial. This is not what we were promised, and yet it's what we're getting. As if to underscore that point, the rioting this weekend in Chicago began in a place called Millennium Park. Is the same place where Barack Obama gave his famous 2008 victory speech in which he promised a better future. Listen.
It's been a long time coming, but tonight, because of what we did on this day, in this election, at this defining moment, change has come to America.
Change has come to America. Barack Obama was more prophetic than we knew. That was just 15 years ago. But today we're seeing the change that Barack Obama brought to America. This is what it looks like.
With a new plan to ban unsanctioned camping. As for Portland's enormous homeless crisis,
here's what we're doing about this issue.
Mayor Ted Wheeler is moving forward with a new plan to ban unsanctioned camping and open 6 mass homeless camps across the city.
And that's kind of the point I'm making. None of this makes sense in conventional political terms. What you're watching is not a political movement, it's evil. It's really just a Christian notion. This is kind of a, I would say, widely agreed upon understanding of good and evil. What are its products? What do these two conditions produce? Well, I mean, good is characterized by order, calmness, tranquility, peace, whatever you want to call it, lack of conflict, cleanliness. Cleanliness is next to godliness. It's true, it is. And evil is characterized by their opposites: violence, hate, disorder, division, disorganization, and filth. So if you are all in on the things that produce the latter basket of outcomes, what you're really advocating for is evil. That's just true. I'm not calling for a religious war, far from it. I'm merely calling for an acknowledgement of what we're watching. I'm just noting what's super obvious. Those are manifestations of some larger force acting upon us. It's just so obvious. It's completely obvious. And I think 2 things. 1, we should say that and stop engaging in these totally fraudulent debates. And 2, maybe we should all take just like 10 minutes a day to say a prayer about it. I'm serious. Like, why not? And I'm saying that to you not as some kind of evangelist. I'm literally saying that to you as an Episcopalian, the Samaritans of our time. I'm coming to you from the most humble and lowly theological position you can. I'm literally an Episcopalian, okay? And even I have concluded it might be worth taking just 10 minutes out of your busy schedule to say a prayer for the future, and I hope you will.